Hello, 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 and welcome to the Watch Bungler. Today, the CWC G10. What is the CWC G10? It is a three-handed quartz field watch manufactured by the Cabot watch company. But you probably already knew this, you sneaky bugger, because Uncle Google brought you here. The CWC G10 was first produced in 1980. CWC produced approximately 200,000 of these from 1980 to 2006, 2008, and these were issued in that time period to the British Armed Forces. This particular model was issued in 1989 and issued to a sailor in the Royal Navy. Now, how do I know that? Well, the case spec told me. This jobby is 36 millimeters in diameter, so effectively the width of the watch. With the crown, it's 38 millimeters, lug to lug, so the length, if you will, is 42 millimeters, and lug width, so what kind of strap this fits, is 19.1 by my measurement. It does fit a 20 millimeter NATO strap. Crown is push-pull, crystal is acrylic, stainless steel case. The case has a matte finish and looks to be bead blasted. Now, the first time I got one of these, the first thing that came to mind was one of those plastic Swatch watches. Not that I'm saying this feels like to be bad quality, just the overall shape and style. Printed dial, matte black, luminous hour markers, second track running on the outside of the dial in a railroad styling. 12 is a loomed triangle, so that you know what side is up no matter how many pints you've had. And underneath that we have the printed logo CWC in an oval. If this watch was from 1980, it would have just been CWC, but you would have also noticed that the watch is significantly thicker. Underneath that we have T in a circle, T for tritium. So that was the substance used in the luminous paint. Now, tritium is radioactive, so don't lick the dial. Above 6 we have quartz in bold letters. This has a quartz movement after all. And at the bottom of the dial we have Swiss made. This is after all Swiss made with a ETA quartz movement. Very legible, very, very cool. Second hand on this is white, and on almost every single CWC G10 I've had, that second hand hits every marker, which I very, very, very much like. Hands on this, so the hour and the minute hand are in a sword styling. These are heavily patinated. You can see some loom rot has set in on the hands. The hour loom pips and the batons at 6, 3 and 9 have patinated nicely and have gone a sort of creamy color. Now, there's no date window on this. If it had a date window, this would have been called a navigator. Now, navigators, if I understand right, were issued to the Royal Air Force. The stainless steel used for the case is 316L stainless steel, and we have very short lugs on this with fixed bars, so you can only use a NATO or the like on this watch. When we flip it around, we find a snap-on case back with a battery hatch at 12. These were rated for 50 meters or 5 atmospheres, so you could get wet and go for a swim. I wouldn't take this anywhere near the water though, since it was made in 1989. I've got no idea what the seals are like, and it hasn't been pressure tested. And next to the crown we have a broad arrow. The broad arrow has been in use since the 17th century and indicates that this is the property of the British government or the crown. And next to that we have a long sequence of numbers. The first in that sequence is 0552. Now that means this watch was issued to the Royal Navy. If that numbers had been W10, it would have been issued to the Army. 0555, the Royal Marines, or 6BB, the Royal Air Force. Next we find the NSN, or the NATO stock number. The first digits there are 6645. Now that indicates that this is a timekeeping instrument. After that, we have two more digits, 99. That's country code. And 99 is Great Britain. If that would have been 01 or 00, it would indicate the US of A. Now the next line is the item number. And that is the number that has been awarded to the manufacturer and is the same for all items of the same type. So I have 3 CWC G10s. This one from 89, one from 97 and one from 04, and all have the same item number. Now the next line is this watch's serial number. And finally we have 89, so 1989. So the case spec tells us that this watch has been issued in 1989 to somebody in the Royal Navy. What's under the hood, you ask? Well, the movement in here is the ETA 955114. It runs on a 371 cell. Estimated battery life is 78 months or 6.5 years, which is a long time. It has 7 joules, and I recently learned it is serviceable. Yeah, baby. Yeah. This is what the watch looks like on my wrist. I have an 18 centimeter wrist, and I think it sits beautifully. It's unobtrusive. It doesn't bang onto things. It slides under your shirt or jacket cuff with no problem, as a field watch should. Now, these watches are much more than their components. These were issued. Someone in the service of their country carried one of these. You can buy one new with a Nostrophium dial from the Cabot Watch Company for 349 Great British pounds. An unused, unissued G10 with a Luminova dial for 219 Great British pounds. Cool, yes, but not nearly as cool as one of these issued jobbies, because military watches are the schnitzel, with issued watches being king of the hill. The Cabot Watch Company was founded in 1972 by a man called Mr. Ray Mellor, M-E-L-L-O-R, who was the contracts director at the Hamilton Watch Company. Mr. Mellor sold CWC to Silverman's Limited in 1996. Now, why is this called the G10? Because you had to fill in a G1033 form to get one. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching.